All right, I think it is 7:05. Let us get started. Good evening, everyone. Warm welcome to Emertxe's course demo and placement journey webinar. Today it is 19th of June. We are hosting this edition. So when we say this particular webinar, we do it on a monthly basis, typically towards the last week of every month. Me and my colleague Mubeen will be the host for this session. And this particular course demo webinar we've been successfully doing almost for 3 years now, almost every month. Last week we host this. You can even see the older recordings in the YouTube channel. So the purpose of this webinar is two. One is to basically give you an overview about how the embedded industry is doing, where the jobs are coming from, what are all the advantages that this particular industry has, and why companies are still hiring. Even though broadly you see there is an economic slowdown and things like that. So we'll spend some time around that, and also we'll take a quick look into how our students are doing with respect to the various opportunities they are getting and stuff like that. Let us look into that first. Then subsequently we move on to the course part. We'll mainly look into our embedded systems course and also briefly touch upon our IoT course, how the course is structured, how the modules are there, how the module is going to get delivered, especially for the online students. I'm sure you all will have a lot of questions around the doubt clearing, hardware usage, etc. So we'll spend some time on that. And again, we come back and discuss about the placements again in the third section. We'll talk about how the students who are aspiring for this particular course, when they can start applying, how long they can get the placement opportunities and things like that. So that's a three portion of the webinar. The first portion, overall overview and the job trends, will be delivered by me. And then the second portion, the course demo part, predominantly delivered by my colleague Mubeen. So he will, whatever the technical related questions, pedagogy related questions, he will answer. And then towards the end, we will also come back and take up the placement, which again will be taken by me. Okay? So my request to all the participants is to keep the session interactive. Typically, I do come on the camera. I'm hosting this call from home today. I'm connected to a bigger monitor, so I just kind of going away from the camera for some time. No, probably during the Q&A session, the third session, I will again come back in the camera so that we get a feeling of a face-to-face interaction. Okay, so that's going to be the idea. Let us make it as interactive as possible. Don't hold on to any questions. In Emertxe, we say no question is a good question, no question is a bad question. Any question need to be answered with its true spirit. So don't need to, you don't need to wait as and when something comes into your mind, as and when I run to the slides, you can do that. So, whichever either me or Mubeen, we will pick it up and then we'll answer from that. Okay. So that's going to be the approach. Request all of you to keep your video and audio on mute. One of the reasons why I'm keeping video mute for some time is also it helps us to conserve some bandwidth. Sometimes we see the later evenings the bandwidth gets little challenging. So that's also I thought we'll do that for some time, and after some time definitely I'll turn on the camera. Okay, so that's going to be the approach. So before I start, I always curious to ask this question. May I know which place you are joining this webinar from? Can you please type which place, city, town, or a state you are joining from? I'm hosting this call from Bangalore. As I said today, I reached home early to host this webinar. That's why I'm doing it from my home. Where are you guys from? There's a Q&A window. You can type there. So we can see Gajanan from Mumbai. Okay. Then Madan from Bangalore. Then Akash from Suryapet, Telangana. Then you have Srinivas from Belagavi, Rudra from Belagavi, Chandru from Chennai. Okay. Joining from Kenya. Wow, that's nice. The chat is not working. It's working. Ilija. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrongly. Your message is reaching me, Ilija. It's not like, for example, like a typical meeting chat because it's a webinar, so only it will reach me, I guess. I'm able to see that. I'm glad to see somebody coming from Kenya. Then you have Ellashri from Nellore and Amruta from Belgavi, Tarang from Kolhapur, Maharashtra. Then we have Jinsi Jose from Trivandrum, Prasad from Pune, Vinayaka from Davangere. Then we have Manogna from Nellore, Sanjay from Bagalkot, and we have Sakshi from Satara, and then we have Ali Asif from Kamam. Great. We have almost all the parts of the country covered, and we have Srirag from Kannur, Govardhan from AP Karnool, then you have Nayan from Dhule, Maharashtra, Nitin from Bangalore. Great set of distribution. Okay, thank you very much for all of you to sharing your location. So let us get started with the slides. As I said, feel free to type in any questions anytime. You don't need to wait for me to open up Q&A. Okay, let me put in this slide show. So I'm sure all of you know about Emertxe. Emertxe is a tech company. We've been in this education field for the past 20 plus years. It is started by Mr. Mas, who is the founder and the managing director of the organization. Over the years, 20 plus years, we established ourselves in three different technologies. One is the core embedded systems, and second thing is Internet of Things or IoT, and third thing is the full stack web development. In all the three areas, we offer long-term 6 months course, both in online as well as offline programs, which is aiming at two set of audiences. One is what we call as a college graduates who are finishing up the engineering and looking for their first job. That is our main target. And these days we see that students who are in their final year semester or final semester also enrolling for this course. So the idea of this audience is to ensure that they learn things in a practical manner in the one of the domains, and then make them industry relevant, and then help them to get with jobs. And because today largely engineering is delivered in a very theoretical fashion, especially when you look at the areas where we operate, embedded systems or a full stack or IoT, it requires very much applicability or the hands-on skills. So that's where we make our training programs hands-on. And in the similar lines, we also cater to two more segments. One segment being the working professionals who want to basically add new skill into their portfolio and grow into a different industry. For example, we see a lot of students are the working professionals who got their first job, but they're not happy with the profile. Probably somebody would have studied electronics, but they're studying working in a technical support type of profile. So they want to transition into the core electronics or embedded industry. So they take up our courses. And also we offer customized training program for corporates because today having skilled manpower is the biggest asset that any company can have. In this regard, we have companies directly coming and approaching us. For example, we have been a corporate training partner for companies like Robert Bosch, for over the 9 to 10 years. Then subsequently we kind of paused it because we wanted to focus more on the student segment training, and similarly we did a lot of similar corporate training programs. Any target audience or any technology or any approach, any technology or any target audience, our approach remains the same. You can see the picture in the bottom, a hand making a pot. That's the approach we take. All the education program that we run is highly practical and hands-on, because we strongly believe unless otherwise you are ready to make your hands dirty, you may not be able to learn things. So even when you're trying to do a pot, for example, it may not come in the pot shape. Probably you need to do a lot of mistakes, and then eventually it will shape up like that. And the beauty of taking a hands-on approach is that the learner remains engaged. You don't need to memorize things. Probably in our college days, we studied so many subjects in 4 years in undergraduation, 40 to 50 subjects, right? When you have the formulas, when you have the concept, you by heart it. So what happens because of by hearting it? After some time, we tend to forget. Having said that, if you do it in a hands-on manner, that will stay with you for lifelong, and that's why students who are able to appreciate and adapt to this hands-on way of education, they are able to land in a good placements. Not only that, we also see them growing very well in their long-term career. That's about Emertxe and our education approach. So this is our leadership team. As I said, Mr. Mas is the founder and the managing director. He leads our organization. And I'm Jayakumar. I bring in over 24 years of work experience, which can be categorized into two buckets. In my first 12 and a half years, I was in a typical corporate career path where I started my career in a startup called Ishoni Networks. Then subsequently I moved to HP, Hewlett Packard, and followed by that, I moved to Huawei. Typically, all these 12 and a half years I spent with the embedded domain, building various type of products, working in various layers of embedded systems, leading teams, being a first line manager in HP, then later on leading a group of people in my Huawei assignment, where I was a senior manager or a group manager heading their embedded Linux portfolio. And 12.5 years later, I realized that rather than continuing in the corporate career path, I should follow something which is really close to me. That way, education comes to me naturally because I come from a family of educators. A good number of my family, including my mother and my good number of relatives, are from the teaching background, and we are really passionate about skill building and enabling engineers to discover their careers. As I mentioned in my previous slide, once somebody gets into the job, it stays with them for the lifelong, and it's not only benefits the individuals, it benefits the family, and broader, in a broader sense, right? We are able to create a very vibrant technical community in India. Okay. So that's a passion that I was having for a long period of time, and then we could find synergy with Mars. Mars is the one who started in the year 2003, but I took a corporate career in 2013, then joined the team from 2014. That was almost like 12 years in Emertxe. I've been there. So over the years in Emertxe, I played different roles because we three, pretty much the entrepreneurial team, we own the organization. So pretty much different roles I played over the years. So currently, I'm responsible for the end-to-end delivery. When I say end-to-end delivery, the technical team which takes care of the training, the student success team which runs the soft skills and the counseling part, and then the placements team which talking to the companies and also ensuring the students are getting opportunities. Right? So the end-to-end responsibility is handled by me. Under me, I have a set of program managers, senior counselors, and we have a mentoring team of about 60 people. All of them are full time. Probably one of the unique thing that you will see in Emergee. All the mentors are, class mentors, lab mentors are reporting into me. That's my current responsibility. And along with, Maz and me, we have Mubeen. Mubeen is our technology and CTO. So Mubeen comes from a versatile technology background. We both share similar experiences. We are together in HP, even though we're in different teams. And currently, Mubeen mainly look into our new technology programs, innovations in the pedagogy, look into the industrial trends and stuff like that. I think Mubeen should be there. Mubeen, can you briefly introduce yourself? Are you there?
Yeah, sure, Jay. I'm audible to you.
Yeah, please go
So, good evening, all, and welcome to this course demo webinar. I'll be part of this session today. So, just to briefly introduce myself, I'm a computer science graduate. It's been almost 21 years since I completed my graduation, and since then, I worked in multiple companies. Initially, I started my career as a software engineer in Emertxe, uh, getting hands into development of software for EDA tools and device driver development, etc. I worked closely for almost 2 years in Emertxe initially. Jay, there's some noise coming from your side. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So I worked for closer to almost 2 years as a fresher in Emertxe, and I got my hands dirty to work with open source software, EDA tools, Python-based applications, TK Inter, etc., and device drivers also. And post that, I worked in a company called Novel. Back then, it was known for Novel NetWare, which was a distributed operating system, which was networking rich. So I joined the SUSE team in Novel and contributed to SUSE Linux as well as applications based on Linux. Post that, I joined HP, and in HP, basically, I was part of a team which was like initially, I was part of a team developing distributed document management software, and I worked there almost for 3.5 years in that team. And I was fortunate enough to join HP Linux device driver development team, and I happened to lead a team who was responsible for developing Linux scan fax device drivers. So after working for almost 4+ years in HP, I joined back Emergee as a full-time part of the leadership team. And since then, I have taken multiple like responsibilities. Initially, we used to develop products for industrial automation, agricultural automation. So I was part of a team which used to build embedded solutions, including hardware and software. So I had expertise in writing device drivers and porting Linux on ARM, as well as architecting different solutions in the embedded system space. And after working on the embedded projects, we pivoted into training, so wherein our passion was mostly towards training fresh engineers as well as working professionals in the area of embedded systems. So we started our training programs. So I was leading the technology department responsible for delivering the trainings, as well as ensuring that our students are getting placed. So right now I am handling a different portfolio, primarily looking at creating new course contents as well as improving the course pedagogy at Emertxe. So I'll be discussing a few things with respect to how the course is getting delivered in Emertxe and what contents we teach as part of the course, and also showcasing some of the tools which we use as part of the course delivery. If any queries which are related to the course, feel free to ask. So that's it from my side. So we'll be happy to interact with you and answer your queries as well. So over to you, Jay. You can take over.
All right, thanks, Mubeen. Thanks, Mubeen, for your introduction. Let us move on. So over the years, one of the key element that we built in Emertxe is the relationship that we built with more than 1,300 placement companies in our portfolio. And these companies fall into different buckets. We have companies who are having their offshore R&D delivery centers. For example, companies like Qualcomm, Microchip, Chelsea, LG. So who have the India office predominantly in Bangalore. Apart from that, we also have companies which are based out of Hyderabad, Chennai, Pune, Mumbai region, NCR region, which is nothing but Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida. So today we have distributed clientele across various cities, including the MNCs or the R&D centers, and we also work with the Indian service companies who have the engineering services division where they do the embedded software development. Companies like, for example, SAS and Tata Technologies, companies like HCL, who have a very big embedded division and things like that. And we work with a lot of mid-sized and startups who are involved in niche product development. For example, Alif Semiconductor and companies like Tejas Networks or Radisys. So these type of companies also we work with by providing our trained engineers to these companies. So this is a snapshot of the companies what we have. For example, you can see some of the popular consumer electronics products. Companies like Boat, who've been hiring our students. HCL I mentioned. HL Mando is another Korean automotive company. Zumi Solutions, the hiring drive is happening this week, right? Tons of things. And these logos keep changing. This is a snapshot I'm because last week Digital Shark was hiring our students. And if you go and see in our website, as well as in our social media, we keep the data updated from the beginning. With respect to placements, we have been transparent in terms of the drives that are happening, who are getting selected, and when the company came. Even we publish a calendar of when the company came and recruited. You can check in our website's placement section, or you can check in our social media as well. I'll probably walk you through some of the social media pages also shortly. So that's about the about the placement portfolio what we have. Only as I said, no, let us move on to the job market trends. Okay. So when I say job market trends, what is happening there? If you see today, there are a lot of things happening around us as we speak. The world is going through a lot of changes. Many of the changes are not something what we like, especially war. You can see, there's a lot of geopolitical issues that are happening, war that is happening, and there is a huge amount of uncertainty with respect to the way how the future is going to look like. This is one challenge. Second thing, we also see the artificial intelligence or AI wave is sweeping the entire tech industry. We see that a lot of the jobs which are very much mundane and very much a manual job is getting automated with AI, and a lot of people, a lot of companies are laying off their employees or pretty much reduce their hiring, hiring needs and stuff like that. And if you're a college graduate who are attending this particular webinar, I'm sure you will agree that if you typically look into the type of companies who used to hire in colleges, we used to call them as IT services companies, companies like Wipro, Infosys, TCS, and things like that. They're all going through a huge challenge because of whatever the reasons I mentioned in terms of the geopolitical tensions and the AI transformation. So that's the reason why there is a challenge in terms of jobs. But having said that, the job market that we are targeting is different. My request to all of you is to understand that don't go by whatever you see in the media, right? Because if you're attending this webinar means you are interested in what you call as a core job. When you say core job, we say it's a semiconductor and the device sector in India. So this sector is expected to grow quite well. So let me explain what is semiconductor and device sector is all about. The semiconductor companies are the ones who are making the chipset or the reference hardware, and then the device sector companies are the one which actually uses the chipset and build devices. For example, you say companies like Qualcomm, companies like Microchip are the one who actually make the chipset, whereas company like Samsung, company like LG who build products out of it. Right? So this particular segment is expected to grow quite well in India. For example, in the last 4 5 years, it was growing at around 10%, and it is expected to grow around 20% till probably next year. It is again due to many reasons. One is India being a youngest country in the world, and also we have the largest pool of talent in India because we've proven ourselves as to be a good software destination. And companies they're opening up their manufacturing segments also in India, so that they can do both hardware and software out of India. So that way, this particular segment is growing in a pretty healthy rate, which is expected to generate around 3 lakhs employment. You can see the number 288 there. That's nothing but the 2 lakhs 88,000 jobs. 3 lakh jobs in this. There are some sector of the jobs from the manufacturing segment, which is predominantly targeted for the diploma and ITI type of a target audience. And there are design jobs, which is target for you guys, which is for the BTechs and MTechs. Focusing on the design area. Okay? So one important thing to note is this industry is different from the typical software industry. Okay? And breaking this further, if you see the type of jobs, the design job that we talk about, as I mentioned, the hardware and the software part. So the recent past, you can see right around 65% of the jobs are coming from the software side, or more of an embedded software side, and 35% is coming from the hardware or VLSI side. Okay. And going forward, this is going to slightly get altered, where the software job is going to grow more, and then the VLSI job going to shrink a little bit. And not only that, you can also see 5% of the jobs are going to come from the AN and ML's role. Okay. So here there are two things to take away. One is like in the semiconductor and device sector, in the design side, the jobs, the software jobs or the embedded software jobs are the one which is occupying the predominantly of the pie there. You can see the 70% share there. Also, you can also see that the AML coming into picture. Again, this is a typical question which we get asked in almost all the webinar, or even if we meet our students on a regular basis. This is one thing, sir. Is it something we see that AI and ML is taking away jobs of engineers? How about our sector? Is it something it's going to take away job? The answer is definitely not. Here, with the introduction of the AI and ML, I would say the opportunities are only enhanced. To start with, to process such a huge data set or an AI ML model, you require very strong hardware or semiconductor to be available. That's a company like Nvidia are cashing in and building chipsets in the platforms to handle such huge volume computations. Added to that, today when you talk about the embedded software, which is customized for a particular hardware. So doing any type of AI to customize is not going to happen. So still quite a long way to go for AI to catch up. Rather, what I say, the positive area where in the intersection of AI and embedded systems, we are seeing a lot of new products are getting innovated, especially areas like electric vehicle, especially areas like autonomous vehicles, in the image processing area, right, in the medical instrumentation side. We are hearing a lot of such companies, niche companies are coming up who are hiring our students. In fact, I'm encouraging our existing students to go and take up jobs in such companies, because in the initial years, if they spend in the intersection of AI and ML and embedded systems, definitely their future is going to be far better, because that's where the growth is going to happen. So in summary, there are this particular segment has got a very good growth, and jobs are coming in a pretty decent way, I would say, because India is becoming a preferred destination for all the companies to do their R&D work. Not only that, the AI revolution only is fueling more jobs here. Okay. So this is a high level trend what we see in the market, and this is based on the market research done by the ESDM, Electronics System Design and Manufacturing. They keep doing the market research. It is based on their market research data that we leverage this particular information. So moving on, and this is, you might have seen this in terms of the job requirement from this industry. Unfortunately, none of the tier 2 or tier 3 engineering colleges can satisfy this. They can only satisfy the IT services jobs, but not the core jobs. So that opens up a huge opportunities for students like you who are aspiring to get into this industry, and institution like us who are willing to impart these skills and create a win-win proposition here. So having said that, because of the economic slowdown, there has been some challenge in terms of companies that we've been hiring. But as I said, we are doing far better. This is a graph that we show in every webinar. You can see from the past webinars also. This graph basically shows the number of placement companies that are coming every month in Emertxe. So the blue ones are nothing but the last year, 2024, and the red ones are nothing but 2025. You can see there last year it started off quite well with one or two companies, but later there was a zigzag, and towards the end of the year it becomes 40s as the slowdown and other things challenges started coming in. Okay. So this year the trend continues to be the same. We are getting anywhere around 65 to 70 companies every month. In the month of May we closed with 73 companies, and April 66 companies, March 56 companies, February 63 companies, and January 55 companies. In June, as of now, we are 19. We have another 10 12 days to go. We are at 35 companies which are already conducted their selection process with the students, and more companies are coming in pipeline. Okay. So this is a reality, and this is a data that we show in every post demo webinar. There are a few points for you to understand here. Right? Here, when you look into the companies, when you statistically analyze, right? So first and foremost thing to understand is more than 40% of the companies. Okay, so we done analysis over the years. More than 40% of the companies are telling you can be from any year of pass out, and you can be from you can have any sort of academic credentials. Okay, they say they don't care. All they need is they wanted to come and demonstrate the right set of skill set to the organization. So my request to all of you who are listening to this webinar, please come out of the mindset of oh my god, I'm from an older era pass out. Look, the 2025 has come already. The students are already passing out, and they may take away my jobs. Or in the process, 2024 students may think that oh my god, I'm losing a fresher tag and things like that. Okay. In Emertxe's word, there is nothing called fresher or experienced. We always use the word called skilled. Right? And as long as you are skilled, more than 40% of the companies are telling you are welcome. If you demonstrate the skill, you get into a job. So this is one very important part that you need to understand, right? The second point that we want to understand here is that all the companies which are recruiting from us, right? So they are recruiting for projects which are long term in nature. I say long term in nature. Take a case of electric vehicle. Okay. A company is involved in design and development and even manufacturing of EVs. There is a two-wheeler EVs itself, right? To build a product itself will take anywhere around 4 to 5 years. Then probably they need to mass manufacture and take the product to the customers. But what I mean to say is the cycle is also very different from a typical IT cycle, where the cycle should be way smaller than the whatever we are talking about in the semiconductor device industry. So which also means that the companies who are recruiting your students, they are recruiting with a long-term perspective in their mind. Saying that what, I'm not looking at people to join us for the next 1 year or 2 year. Because the product development itself is going to take on 4 and 5 years, right? And they're looking for people who can build a long-term career with them. The last month I was talking with our students, I was just explaining them about how you all can dream about having a 30-year career map or a 30-year-old career growth in this industry. That's a kind of a long-term vision we are talking about, okay, which is a really a positive sign in nature, irrespective of all the trends that are going on, all the especially the negative things are going on. This sector looks very much foundational, and it is poised for already growing at quite a healthy rate, right? Third part is when you closely look at these companies, let us say 73 companies or 35 companies or 66 companies, these companies, whatever the opening that they have, right? When they conduct a drive with Emertxe, when they say they could select some students, but still they're not able to select many because of the gap they're seeing in the students. So which means to say that we are losing an opportunity there. So if you focus on skill building, definitely those opportunities can be capitalized. That way I'm telling you, right, the opportunity is knocking the door. Only we are not taking it. University students are not taking it. Of course, taking good amount of them, but still we are losing some, we are leaking something. Okay. So in summary, all I wanted to say is skill is the thing. My request you to come out of this era pass percentage story. I'm sure it will be running in many of your minds. And also, as far as the career longevity is concerned, don't need to think it is a risky one. Think about it as a 30-year roadmap, and skill is going to be the only the differentiator. So as long as you have the right set of skills, companies are more than willing to ready to give you the opportunities. Okay. So this is a a brief about what the companies are doing. So now what I'll do is we'll take a a quick look into the success stories of Emergee. I will just unshare for a minute. Earlier, I used to scrape some data from the social media, but these days I'm showing right away from our placement, sorry, in our Instagram page itself. I'm sure you are following us in social media. If not, you can just see the screen. Right, this is our Instagram channel. Emergee Instagram channel here. Let me click that. Right. So you can see here various types of profile people are there. For example, we have people who passed out in the recent batch. For example, we had a student from 2024, 2020, student like Anandu, right, Muhammad. They're all the one who joined as a fresher, and then they ended up in a job in a company, a premium company like Qualcomm or Chelsea. And we also have working professionals, as I mentioned in the beginning. Some of them do get into a job, but they may not get the job profile they're looking for. We have students like Krishna Unni is an example, where he joined as a test engineer in Infosys from these campus placements, but he was not very happy about it. So he joined our course, worked on it, and also he was able to achieve a career transition. And you can also see people who have some experience. Companies do value that. Both of them got selected at the same time, Sahal and Krishna, where Sahal got 22.2 as a salary, whereas Krishna got 24. So companies do consider your previous experience and provide you with a higher education. Of course, you need to demonstrate the skill set, perform well in the interview and things like that, right? And you can see that apart from the lot of similar stories coming in from various students, various type of students, coming and talking about their journey. We have students like Raghu who got into a company called Eltara, which is an Indian company, right? So you can see a lot of such examples there, and we also have students basically who are able to resume their career after a long break. Now, this is a typically we see this happens with a lot of our girl students or guys who are after their graduation they try different options for their career. For example, we see a lot of students preparing for the UPSC or a gate, or let us say for example they were assisting the family in terms of their father's business or something like that, because of which there's a career gap. Okay. Similarly, our girl students also may have similar challenges, career gap. And another major challenge we see with respect to our girl student is that them getting married, relocating to a different city, then probably they get into the family way and have children and things like that, which actually puts them away from the mainstream career. Okay. So what happens is these students, when they want to resume back in the industry, they are not relevant or they don't have the hands-on skill, or probably they might have forgotten it due to the break. So those students also take up our course. You can see the success story of Soumya. She actually resumed the career after 7 years of break. She got this company called Carnex for a 4 LPA salary, right? So which I was mentioning in the previous slide in the graph, right? Companies don't care, even though if you're getting coming after 7 years, right? They're not going to judge you. They ask you what is the whatever the reason, and we tell very simple answer to our students. We tell the truth. We don't need to cook any stories, whatever the reason, explain it. And rather than that, they'll be keen on what skills you learned in Emergee and how well you're able to demonstrate. As long as you're able to demonstrate, we see students who are from a older era pass out, or coming after a break, also able to get into this scheme, right? We can see this the various success stories here. And here there are some students who are from the older era pass out, right? Students like Ashwin from 2021, then you have Pooja from 2020, then 2021 we have Rama Swarna, right? Sonu from 2018 batch, right? Similarly we have Kumar Swami from 2021 batch, Pooja from 2021 again, right? So like that we have success stories in various categories. Fresh engineers who graduated from the college, or somebody who is working want to achieve a career transition, or somebody is coming after a career break, right? And it doesn't matter somebody is an online or offline. As I told, and let me reiterate, the only differentiator here is the skill. So as long as you're able to demonstrate the skill, companies are willing to give you opportunities, and you are able to demonstrate the skill. Definitely, they're willing to give you the job also. So these are some of the examples that we can go on and on. Go back and dig the data as much as possible. Right? These are all the success stories, which, because as you're attending this webinar, maybe from a different bucket, somebody could be a fresh graduate, somebody may be working professional. I'm sure these examples, which are showed in 4 categories, you're able to relate, whichever category you belong to. Okay. So that's about the job market and the high level trends and how the sector is looking bullish, and along with some introduction about Emertxe. Okay. So let me see, some questions have come. Let me see, whether we can see any questions here. Any questions, guys, so far? Is it clear? Is it clear? I'm not seeing any questions here. All right, no problem. So what we'll do, we'll proceed to the second section of our webinar. We'll move on to the course demo part. As I told, this section will be handled by my colleague Mubeen. Mubeen will run through his section. I guess he has a different set of contents and also some videos to share. Let me go off the screen. Mubeen, you may want to share your screen.
Yeah, sure, Jay. Can you make me the presenter?
Yeah, sure. Give me a minute. Yeah, Mubeen, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Right. So what I'll be doing now is I'll walk you through the course pedagogy which we follow at Emertxe. And following that, I'll also share 2 sample videos. One is for the C programming module and other is for the microcontroller module, just to make you aware how the modules are taught in the online mode. So more on what are the modes of delivery we have, we'll be discussing shortly. So in the demo videos, you can just have a look at how the mentor is explaining the concepts and how easy it's to understand the concepts even if you're not attending the sessions on premise, right? And thirdly, what I'll also do is I'll also share a snapshot of how the learning management system looks like. So we have a full-fledged learning portal or learning management system wherein you can access all the course-related artifacts, which will help you to learn the modules effectively, and also refer it and practice the task which has been given to you. So at a very high level, we wanted to discuss about how the course is getting delivered on a daily basis and what kind of support you can expect from us so that you can learn effectively all the modules and eventually achieve your goal of getting placed in core companies. Now, we deliver primarily 3 courses. One is embedded systems course, other is the embedded IoT course, and third one is a full stack web application development course, primarily targeted for folks who are interested to learn about web application development, both front end and back end. So today's webinar, we're going to discuss only about embedded systems and embedded IoT course, which is generally opted by uh, electronics stream of engineers. All right. So on a daily basis, if you look at our training pedagogy, we deliver the class sessions. Mentors will deliver the class sessions, which is more of concept explanations along with application examples, which are used on a day-to-day basis in the industry. and it will also make you do projects, which is part of the course. Now, typically the class uh, duration is around 1.5 to 2 hours, and along with the class, lab sessions also will be taken on a daily basis, which also runs for around 1.5 hours. So daily, you're going to learn many new concepts in a practical way, and to ensure that you're learning things practically, we uh, make you do assignments and projects. So assignments are generally shorter in nature. When you learn a concept, write some 20, 30, 40, 50 lines of code, which will help you apply the concepts and also build your logical skills. Apart from assignments, we want you to learn things in a holistic way. So when you want to learn things in a holistic way, wherein let's say you learn a module like C programming or microcontroller programming, it is not just that you do small assignments. We want you to work on larger projects, which will be more like application-oriented projects, which are industry relevant, right? So typically in a module like C, microcontrollers, data structures, Linux internals, etc., we at least make you do 2 projects as part of the module. So minimum each student should be doing 8 projects, but there is no limit as to how many projects you can do, right? So typically a good student will be completing around 8 to 10 projects as part of the course itself. There are students who have completed even more, like 15 projects also, which is part of the course, right? So why we want our students to do projects? This is a different approach of learning. It is not just about learning the concept, it's about like applying the concepts so that when you get a job, it becomes easy for you to get started in the projects which you are assigned, right? Similarly, to help yourself assess as well as us understand what is your technical understanding, we will be assigning you test and module test and objective test, right? More of test, uh, which is based upon concepts which you learned in the module, which kind of gets asked by the interviews also, right? So when you apply for a job, initially you will have screening rounds or tests, which will be more of like filtration rounds, wherein candidates are able to clear the test will be given interview opportunities. Now, for you to become ready to grab those opportunities, we will be conducting regular tests, including like objective test, programming test, and subjective test as well, right? So, as a whole, our course is designed in such a way that you learn the concepts effectively, apply them practically by doing assignments and project, and also get prepared for interviews by attending the test, which is scheduled on a regular basis. Now, this is how the course pedagogy looks like. And when you are working on the assignments and project, or you may not be able to understand certain concepts, what is taught in the class, we will be supporting you not just during lab and class and lab sessions, asynchronously also, right? So we have online support channels wherein mentors as well as students are part of a like a discussion forum or a group wherein you can post your queries, right? You can ask any doubt. So no doubt is silly, they say, right? Any doubt, any queries you have, you can post your doubts in the discussion forum. Mentors as well as your uh, batchmates will be like watching what kind of basically questions are asked in the group, and you can expect answer so that you can move forward with respect to your task. Now, after completing certain modules, so we'll help you apply for placements. We have a dedicated placement team which will be facilitating the placements for you. Before you get into placements, it's important that you know where you stand. So we'll conduct mock interviews, which will give you confidence, right? So before you attend real interviews, we've seen many people are not very sure what kind of basically questions are expected in the interview, how to basically like answer questions, etc. Some get nervous and things like that, right? So to assist and facilitate our students to become more capable and interview ready, we conduct mock interviews, right? So multiple mock interviews can be taken, right? So that based upon the feedback, you can improvise, and this will definitely give you the confidence to attend real interviews. So mock interviews are part and parcel of our course delivery, right? This is something which you get exclusively. So apart from that, we have been like placing students in several companies. Few hundreds of companies hire from us every year. So we have a huge database of questions and the pattern which companies are asking. So these questions will be shared to you for the sake of preparation. So please be assured that okay, when you share the question, it doesn't mean that the same question is going to get asked, but it's kind of a reference which will help you to become prepared for the interviews. Similarly, we'll also conduct like prep test, interview prep sessions before the interview schedule, right? So interview prep sessions are dedicated preparation sessions which will be conducted for a specific company or a specific module, which will help you get ready for the interviews, right? Similarly, there are dedicated like discussion forums also created for a placement drive, right? So apart from the technical teaching aspect and placement aspect, we also have a student success team which will be closely interacting with you throughout the course to to monitor your performance or also handhold you in case you are not able to make progress, right? So making progress is key, and the 6 to 7 months journey may look like short eventually, but it's important that you are able to make progress on a regular basis. For that, our student success team has a framework which is created to monitor your performance and handhold you in case you are stuck, and also help you navigate through the course. Okay. So this is about our course pedagogy and what kind of support you can expect, and apart from basically technical sessions, what you can expect from the placement team as well as student success team in brief. Now coming back to the courses which are available, right? So one course is embedded systems course, which is available in both offline and online mode. In the embedded system course, we have divided into several modules or subjects, you can call it. So to begin with, we teach Linux basics, right, which is more of an introduction to how to get started with a Linux operating system as well as command line interface, right? So this is important for any embedded engineer because going forward, when you like move to the more complex module, Linux is used extensively, and in future also when you get a job, Linux based skills are very much required for you to complete your day-to-day activities and also like make progress in your real projects. After Linux, we'll teach C programming. So C programming is the, I would say, the de facto language which is preferred in developing embedded systems. So we start off with C programming from the basics, and we'll cover the intermediate as well as advanced topics in C programming. Here we'll be focusing on not just the concept, we'll also be focusing on problem solving. So we will be assigning you projects as well as assignments so that you can become confident in the C programming module. Again, all these modules are covered from scratch. After C, we teach C++. So C++ is kind of a superset of C, which includes like C constructs as well as object-oriented programming construct, etc. So more often we've seen that companies are slowly migrating from C to C++ because hardware has become more powerful and it becomes easy to design more complex application using C++, right? So other modules, including data structures, microcontroller programming, right, and Linux internals, embedded Linux and ARM are also part of the course. And when you talk about embedded system programming, the heart of embedded system is the microcontroller, right? So microcontroller is the heart of the embedded system, which is a combination of embedded system programming is a combination of understanding the microcontroller as well as programming it by learning the architecture and the peripherals, right? So we teach microcontroller programming extensively, which is the heart of the embedded system course, which will help you to gain the necessary skills for yourself to become labeled as an embedded software engineer. Again, we have different microcontroller options. We've been teaching using PIC microcontrollers. Now we are planning to migrate to ARM M3 M4 controller, which is quite popular nowadays. So most likely when you join the course, you will be taught using ARM M3 M4 controllers on based out of basically ST microelectronics STM32 controllers. So apart from microcontrollers, we'll teach Linux internals, wherein you learn about operating system concepts, etc. Right? And in the end, you learn about ELAM, which is a module which help you to build Linux from scratch. Right? This is kind of a requirement which is common in the industry if you are going to work on Linux based embedded systems. Apart from embedded systems course, we have another course which is embedded IoT course. Embedded IoT course has many of the modules which are overlapping with embedded systems course, but the application which you're going to build using IoT may not be same as what you're going to build using embedded systems based development. Now, when you talk about IoT, it's Internet of Things, right? Nowadays, everything and anything is getting connected to Internet. For example, you take a smartwatch, right? It is like it requires you to communicate from your mobile application, or you may be able to directly interact with the cloud using the smartwatch, right? Now, anything and everything is getting enabled with IoT. So we have framed a course which kind of basically has the base embedded system, but on top of it, we are teaching modules which are required you to fetch the data from embedded systems and uh, push it into the cloud, as well as analyze the data from the cloud also. So in the IoT course, we have IoT architecture and ecosystem, which is like initial introduction to the end-to-end IoT architecture and how the applications can be designed using a common framework. Then we teach about some of the modules that are already explained earlier, like Linux basics, C programming, C++, etc. Now, apart from C and C++, we are also teaching Python programming in IoT. So Python is quite popular nowadays. It's not just used in embedded systems, it's used in IoT application development. It's also used in web application development, test automation, etc. So we'll teach Python programming from an IoT programmer's perspective. Now, when you talk about microcontroller programming using IoT, in IoT, we are going to use a different approach. Instead of using a bare metal programming approach, we are using Arduino based embedded system programming, wherein you use the Arduino framework to develop the applications. Similarly, two other modules are there. One is IoT gateway and protocols. Now, if you want to communicate with the cloud over the internet, you have to know like how to use an IoT gateway, which handles like different protocols like MQTT, etc. In the end, you'll also learn how to set up IoT cloud infrastructure, as well as tools which are part of the IoT cloud, right? For example, there are like IoT-based cloud solutions from Amazon, from Microsoft, like my Azure IoT is there, etc., which we'll be teaching as part of the course. So in summary, we have like two modules. One is two courses. One is embedded system course, other is the IoT course, wherein some of the subjects are overlapping, and some of the subjects are specific to IoT as well. So let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to ask any questions regarding the course pedagogy and the course modules. Let us know. We are there to answer your queries. Okay. So let me move to the next topic. If you do not have any queries, you can still post it in the question pane. So now what I'm going to do is I will share two sample videos. One video is with respect to C programming module, wherein one of our mentors is explaining the arrays topic. And again, please understand this is kind of like a snapshot of the course which is being played. So it is taught in a very detailed manner in a real session. Since because of the time availability, we are just cut short the videos. You can just have a look at it, and you can understand how the online classes are delivered for these two modules, C programming and microcontrollers. Let me share my screen.
Memory allocated. Now, after an array is been declared, maybe I want to give the values into the array, because just the array's declaration will have garbage value. Assume I take int array of size 5. Okay, there has to be 20 bytes of memory allocated. Assume This is the 20 bytes of memory allocated for the array. So I'm storing 5 integers. So each integer takes how many bytes? Each integer takes how many bytes? Correct. So each integer takes 4 bytes. So if the starting address of the array is 1000, where will be the next element present? If the starting address of the array is 1000, where will be the next element present? Assume this is 1000. Where will be the next element present? Yes. Each of the element uses 4 bytes. So it is 1004, then 1008, 1012, 1016. To access the array's element, you have to go with something called as the index number. And index number varies between 0 to size minus 1. So very first element will be in index 0. Second element will be in index 1. Third element will be in index 2. Fourth element will be in index 3. And fifth element will be in index 4. Okay. If you just declare the array like this, the array's element will have garbage value by default. So in order to not have a garbage value present inside the memory block, maybe I want certain values to sit inside it. In such cases, I have to do the array's initialization. To initialize the array, here inside the curly braces, I have to give 5 elements: 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. In that case, that value will be written here. That will be 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Okay, this is how I declare the array. This is how I do the initialization, and this is how the memory for the array will be allocated. Accessing happens with respect to the index number varying between 0 to size minus 1. See here, data type, name, size, where size represents the number of elements. So the total memory occupied by the arrays, number of elements multiplied by size of an element. That is in turn size into size of the data type. If this is the array I'm going to take of 5 size with the values 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, this will be the array. So the very starting address of the array always is called as the base address of the array. This address 1000 will always be called as the base address of the array, or you can also call it as starting address or address of the very first element of the array. All of them means the same, but we usually refer it as base address. Okay, you can call it as base address, or you can call it as the starting address, or you also can call it as the address of first element. Okay, the starting address is called as the base address or starting address or address of the first element of the array. So then it is plus 4, plus 8, plus 12, plus 16. Index has to vary between 0 to size minus 1. So it has to be starting from 0. An array is a collection of similar data type. Elements occupy consecutive memory locations. First element will be in the lowest address and last element will be in the highest address. Elements are indexed from 0 to size minus 1. So if the size of the array is 5, index will vary from 0 to 4. Accessing out of the range array elements would be an illegal access. So whenever you have to access the elements of the array, you have to go with the name of the array, then the index number. Okay, so array of 0, array of 1, like this, you have to go with the index number. So if the index number varies between 0 to 4, I can access only between array of 0 to array of 4. Out of the boundary, that is accessing array of -1 or accessing array of 5 is not allowed. It is an illegal access where you might get to see a error. So accessing out of the range array elements would be illegal access. You should not access the elements in array of -1 and array of size. And once the memory for the array is allocated, it can never be altered in the runtime. That is, while executing the program, the array size can never be modified. So if you declare an array like this, it will be 20 bytes of memory allocated for sure. So this size can never be altered throughout the program. Again, here in double denum of size 6, there will be 48 continuous bytes already allocated. You never get a chance to increase or decrease the size once it has been allocated. So this is the concept of array. Clear this much? Okay. So have this one noted. The next we will see is how to print the elements of the array. Okay. So there are different ways of printing the array's element, which we will be seeing shortly. Before that, have this one noted. So the next we have got is to print the array's element. So when you are supposed to print the array's element, we usually go with the name of the array and the index number. But that has to be done on a repetitive manner. So what is it necessary to be used? What is it necessary to be used if I have to print? Yes, loop is definitely necessary. So I can print the array's element in any of a loop considered. Observe. Okay. So first I try printing it in a for loop. Int array of size 5. I also do the initialization with 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. I need another integer variable I for the sake of index. So I will first say it as printf arrays elements are. Okay. So I run a for loop for I is equal to 0, I less than 5 and I plus plus, because 5 is the size of the array. Inside this, I go with the printf. Sorry. Yeah, so printf %d \n, comma, array's name with index. Okay. So first array of 0 will be printed when I will have a 0 taken, then array of 1, then array of 2, array of 3, array of 4. When I becomes 5, 5 lesser than 5 will be condition false. You come out of the for loop. Observe the output here. So I'm compiling and executing. These are the arrays element which I am printing using a for loop. Let me change this. I try printing using a while.
So that was a quick sample video for the arrays topic, which is part of the C programming module, wherein the mentor is explaining what is an array and demonstrated how the memory is allocated for the array, and in the end a small program was shown how wherein she is creating the array and printing it using a for loop. Right now, it's not necessary that you understand everything in this video, but idea was just to show what tools, how the explanation was done by the mentor. So what I'll do is I'll share another video which is for the microcontroller module. We can have a look at this video and see how the microcontrollers module is taught in the online mode with MPLAB XID as well as a simulator called as PixSimLab, which will seamlessly work irrespective of whether you are doing it on a real hardware or using a simulator.
Now be recorded.
So, hello everyone. In today's class, let's see how we can write an embedded program to toggle the LEDs connected to the board bit. So, now to write the embedded program, we are going to use the tool MPLAB XID. So, you can see here. So, this is the MPLAB XID. If you open this, you will see this as a starting page. So, some projects are mentioned here, datasheet is available here. Even if you worked on some recent project, that list is available. See, and even you will get the microchip login. So if you have a login ID password, you do the login, and you can do the purchase on a microchip website, right? Okay, so now let me go back to the question. So question was, we wanted to toggle the LEDs connected to the port D. So now here in this MPLAB ID, you can see these are the different tools available. So we can use these tools as per the requirement. For example, this is to create a new file. It's to create a new project. It is to open the project. This option is to do the build. And you can see different many options are there. So as per the need, what we will do, we will take an approach. Whatever we need it, we will start using those things. So now here in this MPLAB XID, I already created a project and kept it ready. So project name is what? LEDs. So in this project, I created. When this project is created, this MPLAB XID create some organized sections. You can see here. So now to write this program, to write the embedded code, we need a main.c. So generally .c files goes here in the source file sections. Header files goes here, make file will go here, linker script will go to this section. Or if you need any libraries, if you are planning to add any libraries, then those goes into this section. And finally, this is the place for your executable file. So let me go to the main.c. So you can double click and open the main.c in the editor window. So now you can see I'm defining two macros. So instead of using port D directly, so what I did, since if you see the hardware, on the hardware, so you are having total 16 LEDs. So this is the PiximLab simulator board. So it's having total 16 LEDs. So currently we are going to toggle LEDs connected to the port D. These are the these are the 8 LEDs out of 16. So these 8 LED array we are going to toggle. Toggling means on off we are going to do. So now since I'm having 8 LEDs, I'm defining the micro LED array as a port D, and to give the direction to the port pins, there is a register trace D. I'm defining that with name LED array data direction register. Now you can see here comes my main. So here I'm calling init config function. So this function is to do the initialization. So what we are doing, so in main itself, we are not doing initialization. It doesn't look good. So there is a separate dedicated function to do the initialization. It is init config. So control will go here and here in this init config. So initially what we are doing, if we are using LED, we need to set the pin direction as output. So I'm writing my LED array data direction register as a 0. It will set port D pin as the output, and to start with initially I will keep all LEDs connected to the port D as a off. So to turn off the LED, I need to load 0. So I'm writing here 0. So LEDs remain off, fine. And here comes our while one. So if you see any embedded system, once you turn on the embedded system, it runs forever, right? It goes into infinite loop. So here comes my infinite loop while one. So inside this while one, we are going to write our application. So what is our application? We wanted to toggle the LED. So here is my instruction to toggle the LED. So I'm writing LED array equal to tilt of LED array. So what it will do, it will toggle the values of this LED array. If it is 0, it will make it 1. If it is 1, it will make it 0. So now you can see. So this is what 0, 0, 0. So after execution of this instruction, this LED array value becomes 0xFF. So entire port becomes 0xFF. All port bits become 1. So all LED turn on. LEDs are going to be turned on. And here what I'm doing, so before going to this instruction once again, I'm putting the delay. So if this delay is not there, what happens? We will not be able to see the LED toggling. So it will happen at very fast rate. Due to the persistence of vision, we will not be able to capture it. So I added the delay. Then after this delay, what happened? Next time, since we are in the while one, control will go back here. So again, we are changing the LED array value from what? FF to 0. So now what happened? LED become off, then again delay. So like this way, we are making LEDs on, LEDs off. Fine. Now. So we have to build the code. We have to compile the code. How we can do? So here in this mplab xid, I install x8 compiler. So that's why this header file is also included related to the compiler. So now how you can do the build? So you can see here is one option to do the build. So let me click on that. It will start doing build. My project is getting a build. Now you can see build is going on. So it will take some time. Please wait. Now see, build is successful. That means your hex file is created, and even it will give you the memory summary of your project. So now my hex file is created and it is loaded also. Now what we can do? So we can load that hex file where in this board. So we can run that hex file here in this microcontroller. So this is the heart of this board. So basically here we are using PIC16F877A microcontroller. So we are going to load the hex file here. How? So you can go to the file, you can select the load hex, and you have to navigate wherever your project is stored. So let me navigate. So now, just for the sake of simplicity, I kept the project on the desktop. So let me select that. Now again, you have to go to the distribute directory. So basically, you have to use this path. After build successful, it is prompting the path where X file is available. I'm just referring that. Then you have to go to the default production. Here is the X file. Let me open. Okay, expected output is what? These LEDs should toggle, but it's not happening. Why? Because these DIP switch related settings are not done. So to turn on the LEDs connected to the port D, this DIP switch, second one, you have to pull this switch up. So let me do that. So it's down. You have to pull it up. So let me select. Now you can see the change here. So what this program is doing, it's running in this microcontroller and it is toggling the LEDs. And even we are able to see the toggling very clearly, right? Okay, so this is our program, our embedded code to toggle the LEDs connected to the.
So that was another demo of how the microcontroller programming is done using MPLAB IDE in C. And we are running the program on a simulator. You can see the simulator, which has several peripherals on top of it on the board, like LCD, input switches, LEDs, etc. And you can actually get a real feeling of how to do microcontroller programming even without the board also, right? So those who opt for the online course, they will be primarily working on the simulator. Yes, they can also procure the real hardware also in case they want to get hands-on on the hardware as well, right? Now, let me switch to the learning management portal, which will be given to our students. So learning management system is nothing but a portal wherein you can access all the course related contents. So every module will have a separate course will be given to you. For example, for the C programming course, if you navigate to the C programming course, all the contents are organized here. So you can access all the course related information in the LMS, right? So what all you can access, you have access to like assignments, you have access to your attendance, you have access to feedback. If you want to share any feedback, you can share your feedback here. There are discussion forums wherein you can post your queries and mentors will be like watching the discussion forums and responding to your queries. There are quizzes available wherein you can practice the quizzes as well as you have course related resources. For example, if you opted for the online course, you can get recordings also. So total information be available. You have course artifacts, including, for example, slides. Just to show you what the C programming slide will look like, we have materials like this, which you can access and you can understand the topics also. Similarly, there are other information like template codes. Code is also available. Source code is also available. Plus, we'll also get access to class recordings, right? So we have access to class recordings also. You can see here for the online course. Right? Offline course, anyway, class is not getting recorded. So online students, they can access the recordings also, and this will be valid for a period of 1 year. So they can revise the concepts and practice it. Similarly, we have a programming lab which is available in the LMS. So this programming lab consists of programs which you have to practice for a given set of requirements, right? Here you can see programs are available. Let's say you want to do some program, right? You can click on it, right? You can see that you can access the programs, right? And whichever programs you have submitted, you can see the code also is available. You can type the code here, you can execute the code, you can see whether it's right working or not, etc. So all these things you can do using our learning management portal. Similarly, you have access to quizzes. Look at a quiz, right? You can see quiz 1 is there. I can click on this quiz, right? And I can also basically review the quizzes so that in case, for example, I am not sure which questions are right or wrong, you can click on individual questions. You can basically have a review, right? Something I did not do it correctly, you can see, okay, this was wrong, what went wrong, what is the correct answer, etc. You can say. So overall, we have a well structured course wherein you'll be able to learn things effectively. Plus, in case you are not able to remember certain things, you can very well basically revisit the course contents and get prepared so that you're able to effectively get a job when you apply for placements. So that's all from the course demo webinar perspective from a technical point of view. If you have any questions related to the course modules, course contents, etc., feel free to ask. We'll be happy to answer your queries. So Jay, let us know if you have any questions. So me and Jayakumar will be available for you to get it clarified.
Yeah, Mubeen, I'm trying to check the Q&A window.
Sure.
Some noise is coming, Mubeen. Maybe you need to mute from your side. Right, I think that's okay. Let me also share my screen and then start taking up some Q&As. And as mentioned, let me also turn on my camera since so we can have some face-to-face interaction. Hope you're able to see me in the camera. So let us take some of the questions here. Let me try to answer, or I'll tell Mubeen to answer them. Okay, so there's a question from Bhumika. Bhumika says, so if you are from a non-technical domain, does it affect? No, Bhumika, we have a lot of students who are from a non-technical domain. When I say non-technical, they could be coming from a technical support background or marketing and sales, operations admin background, or some of them we even see professors who are from academic background coming and taking up our courses. As I said, for them, it is not the first job. It was more of a career transition. They already have a job, but they wanted to move from that profile to the profile of their interest, which is the core embedded systems profile. Yes, some of the example which I showed, it's a way, how somebody can build a career in that particular area, right? So to answer your question, no, it doesn't matter. Let me go up. As a final year student, when is the time to join? Sorry, sir, I now came. Ask Subish. Subish, you can join anytime. Typically, we see final year students join us in the 7th or 8th semester, or some of them we can't come earlier also. You are most welcome. So we really encourage people to join the course when they're in the engineering college itself, because by the time they complete the course and skill themselves and get into the job market, they'll be way ahead compared to their friends and their batchmates. For example, this year we had a lot of students from the 2025 pass outs joined us in the month of January itself. Right now, the exams are over, the real completed ones are joining. So, guys who joined in the month of January as a part of the 8th semester, they already equipped themselves in a good number of modules. Okay, by the time the 2025 window open up for us, they'll be ahead. So that way, we strongly encourage students in the final year or pre-final year to take up that course so that you can utilize their college time, and by the time complete your course and in your engineering, you're way ahead in the job market. Okay. Hope that answers your question, Subish Balan. Then you have a question from Prasad Kumbar. Prasad is asking, so if you take this course online, how many placements drive will happen? So Prasad, our placement clients, do have the choice. Some of them prefer to basically conduct the entire drive offline, or some of them do conduct, the drive entirely offline. And it depends on the client to client. So whichever the companies which are basically opting the online mode, you can attend those companies, or if you feel that you can travel to Bangalore and attend the offline drives also, we are fine. Okay. As such from our side, we don't have any problem. From the company side also, they don't have any problem. As long as you're able to demonstrate the skill set to the companies, they are fine. Okay. So online or offline is a different mode, and I just tell a very simple example. You wanted to reach the same destination, you take it two different routes, online or offline. It doesn't matter. Okay. As long as you're able to demonstrate the skill set, yes, you can obtain placements. Hope that answers your question, Prasad. And then we have Nayan Sonavane. He's asking, what is the process of hiring for the students, those who are attending online embedded system course? I think I already explained to the question to the previous one. Okay, hope that same answer holds good for you. Then we have a question of Gajanan Shelke is asking, sir, dear sir, in the embedded systems course, it's a design or development. Okay. Again, it's a very broad terms when you say design or development. Again, there's a lot of myth around whether which one you should call a design or which one you should call development. To be very precise, Gajanan, design largely we see it's a terminology used in the hardware side. Even though the software also has got a design, that is what probably called development, right? So I would say our jobs are more focused on the software side. That means say what the hardware is already designed to you by semiconductor professionals or the VLSI engineers, and there is also board engineers who design the board. But now, as an embedded software engineer, we are supposed to develop the firmware for that board and make it functional. For example, somebody is making a smart watch, right? The hardware engineers will give you the board and the necessary peripherals and power attached to it, right? So you are supposed to write the right from the bootloader or a bare metal software, right, all the way up to the application. You are supposed to write and integrate the entire watch functionality. That's what the job we target for. Okay. Rudra Gaud Hegadi is asking, how many months takes time to complete the course, sir? I think that's a very interesting question. So if you see, Rudra, our course schedule is for 6 months. It is planned. We have a curriculum for each and every module. As per that schedule, it is for 6 months. Having said that, what we do, the approach that we take with respect to our mentors, probably you would have heard a statement from some of our existing students saying that they say it's 6 months, but we take more time, probably 7 months or something like that to complete the course. That mainly because of the fact that our goal is not to stick to the schedule. Okay, sticking to the schedule we can anyways do, right? Our idea, what we say, also instruct our mentors, is to ensure that it's not that we complete the syllabus on time. It's important that the students learn the skill set and then they go and demonstrate that particular skill set to the companies, because we are here for the outcome called placements, right? For example, in a college also you have 8 semesters. They all started and ended on time, but the output is not what you desired, right? So we don't want it to be another semester. You are doing 8 semester in college and 9 semester you are doing in Emertxe, right? We don't want that to happen. That's the reason we say, because let us say there's a particular batch takes more time to complete the assignments, or the mentor want to give them an extra project to work on, right? Considering these things, we do take more time, but be rest assured, during those times also our mentors are with you, and this is an additional investment that you're going to make yourself so that we become placement ready. Okay, so what I say is, on paper it is 6 months, and good amount of batches take more than that because of the reason whatever I explained. Okay. So Nayan is telling again, sir, if we miss a lecture, can we get a recorded lecture? Yes, right. Every class, including today's webinar, is getting recorded. And after the class gets over, in case you miss, you'll be able to access from the LMS whatever Mubeen has demonstrated in that particular module. If you go that particular lecture, you will be able to see that in the video form, recorded format, right? So we provide systems for practice in offline course. Yes, definitely. When I say systems, I don't know what you mean by systems. We do provide them boards. If you're talking about laptop or desktop, today what we see is that majority of them, I would say 99% of students do bring laptops. So 1 or 2% or less than 1% of them do not have laptop. For them, we provide desktop systems. Okay. I don't see that, but in case if you're asking the question, it is a desktop or laptop, we do provide desktop in case we don't have. Okay. Yeah, so how many months takes a complete? I think you answered. Uh, Participants are not able to send messages. Sindhu, your message is very much reaching me. As I said, this is not a meeting where you'll be able to see each other's messages. Since a webinar, right, it's only reachable to the host or the organizers. So all the messages are reaching me. Don't worry. So what is the price of the courses? Ask Mohan Manikanta. So Mohan, I would suggest you get in touch with our counseling team. In a subsequent slides, I'll be sharing their contact details. You can get in touch with them. They'll be explaining you the price point for our online course, offline course, IoT course, and they also do run certain scholarship programs. You can also check with them and see what the current scheme that they're having. So we are not the right people. Our counseling team will be the right people to explain this particular question. Okay. Then we have a question from Sindhu Bharati. Sindhu is telling us, I worked for Broadcom between 2006 and 2014, and later I had a break till now, and I'm really interested to get back to my career. That's very good to know, Sindhu. You've been part of Broadcom, one of the major semiconductor companies. I guess you spent around 8 years there. That's really nice to know. Yes, definitely you can come back and resume your career. Probably you had around 10 years of break. I guess the break is quite big, I would say. But having given your previous experience, definitely you should be able to bounce back into your career. But my only request, as I told in the beginning, focus on skill building. Maybe you lost in touch with coding, maybe you lost in touch with what you did in your work experience. Take it as an opportunity to refresh yourself and ensure that you work on maximum number of projects as a part of the course. So definitely you should be able to bounce back and resume your career. Okay. Is it possible to get opportunity to get back? As I mentioned, I already shown you some examples, Sindhu, in the Instagram page, where we are able to help, especially for our girl students. I guess I don't know about your case. Majority of them, as I said, due to marriage, relocation, pregnancy is the reason why they take a break. I hope you may be one of the similar situations only. We helped a lot of students, girl students, to resume back. Okay, you hope we can make some similar success story with you also. Okay. So I worked on SDK integration and protocol stack. That's good. That means it is a relevant experience. As I said, companies do consider that previous experience, and they will be able to give you a better compensation and the designation. But as I said, more importantly, what you do in the course is important. Resuming back is okay, but they'll say, what did you do? When you do the course in Emertxe, what is the skill set that you gain? Can you demonstrate that? If you focus on that, you'll be able to basically cash on in your previous experience as well. What are the top skills or certification that can improve placement chances in our field? From Varshana. So Varshana skill set, whatever Mubeen has demonstrated, whatever do we do as a part of our course, either in the both in the embedded and in the IoT side, as long as you are able to obtain that skills. Again, when you talk about its skills, it is not about by hearting things or memorizing certain things. It's about understanding those skills really well and working on projects. Right? Projects are a great way to demonstrate to the companies that you really know the skills. We push every student to work on minimum 10 projects, or some of our high performing students, they even go on to 15 plus projects. So I would say that is the only passport for the better placements, right? Certifications, not much, Varshana, based on our experience. We're not the type of people who go with the papers. Of course, in subsequent slide I'll talk about Emertxe being an affiliated training partner with the Skill India. You get a level 5 certification from the Government of India under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Added to that, we also give certification from Emertxe side. But I don't think certifications play a very important role, right? That way we have certificates done, right? Many courses I'm sure all of you will be carrying, but it's not about certifications, how well you are able to demonstrate the skill set to the companies. Okay, so that's what I talked about, doing 10 or 15 projects in the resume. Okay, that will only be the passport in across all the modules, whatever Mubeen has shown, right? Srirag is asking, sir, is it correct 6 months course or it will be extended? I think I already clarified that, and I also mentioned why it is mentioned. Okay. Akash is asking, sir, how only few freshers are getting salary more than 12 LP and many getting below 10 LP? See, Akash, that purely depends on how well students are able to demonstrate the skill sets, okay, and also the demand from the companies at a given point in time. So what I say is like, whatever you are telling, whatever the analysis that you are trying to bring in, probably you are looking at a snapshot. Now, I don't know how you came with such conclusions. In a very simple way, I would say, right, this kind of an interpretation may not be correct. You need to look at it from a long-term perspective. Maybe at least you should look into 6 months data to come to such conclusion. I'm sure you might have seen some social media posts and coming to some understanding, right? So in any case, very simple. I've been telling the same answer to, coming from all the different directions, older batch, newer batch, trying to resume. The mantra is skill set, right? If you're able to skill set demonstration, definitely premium companies, and of course also know that premium companies also have a higher expectations, right? So you need to demonstrate the skill set, then you'll be able to grab a premium placements. Okay. So my suggestion is don't get into such a this type of interpretation, many and some and things like that. Okay. Then we have Elijah. I propose that in future you can include an option for paying installments monthly in case unable to pay upfront fee. We'll consider that, Elijah. I guess you are from Kenya. So we will. In fact, we had certain options, an EMI option, what we call in India, were available, but of late those providers are no longer offering the services. So we're expecting students to pay at least that at least in 2 installments, right? Because those type of an organization are no longer providing the services. We'll see if something comes up. We always wanted to do something which is beneficial for our students. Hope something comes up in that, in the payment direction also. Yeah. So Amit Singh is asking, so I want to join the course. When I have to come and when the next batch will start after 28th June. So Amit, typically our batches starts every month. Typically in the last week of every month, maybe 24th and 25th. I have the dates for the month of June. Okay, in the last slide. So in the similar dates, you can assume for the next month also. Okay, so you can say after the maybe 25th June is some rough date you can assume. Once we complete the June admissions over for all the batches, our team will open up the admission for the July. It will be available in our website and our social media. Depending on that, you can plan and take up that course. Okay. Yana Madala. Okay, yes, sir. I meant laptop. So we do have recordings in offline course also. Okay. So okay, yeah, we don't provide laptops. We do provide desktops for the students who don't have their access. So recordings we don't give for offline students. So recording is only available for online students because they are actually in case they miss, we can record. Offline we don't have concept of recording. Okay. Is the course only physical or it can be done online? This can cater for overseas students. Elijah, yes, it is very much online. Both the modules are there, what Mubeen has explained. Yes, we already have students have taken from outside of India, including Kenya. We had one student named Bob a few years back. He was from Nairobi. He's taken the course. And later, I guess, we were good friends. Then later he moved on to South Korea. He's doing his higher studies. He had some jobs in Europe, working for some time. Then he got back to his studies. He's doing his masters after doing our course. So he used to attend the course online from Nairobi. I guess I don't know whether you are based out of Nairobi or some other cities in Kenya. Typically, we see students from the Europe and Middle East. For them, this particular time suits. Our courses start, the classes start at 7 p.m. and lab start at 6 p.m. So that way it will be kind of an afternoon time for you guys, depending on whichever time zone you are. Yes, it can be taken online. Okay. For online, the course will be a recorded session or live. Okay, Prasad, as I said, all the classes will be live, like how we are doing today's webinar. But after the classes are over, the same session will get recorded and will be made available in the LMS. Okay, all the sessions are live sessions. Okay. Then Bhumika is asking, sir, what should we be the way in which we should start working towards skill building once we enroll into the course? Okay, that's a nice question. I have very simple answer, Bhumika, for all of you. You know, you asked many questions about job, salary, career break, etc. I know skill building. Now Bhumika is asking next question, sir, how do you do skill building? Okay, again, the answer is very simple. Just follow what mentors are telling. Okay? You don't need to break your head too much. We have class mentors and lab mentors. We have a structured curriculum, and we have a team of managers who work with our mentors, closely watch how the classes and labs are going on. They are all here to support you. Just follow the mentors, take help from them. Okay, automatically things will happen. If for example, if they say attend this particular class, submit that assignment from in so and so deadline, follow that. That itself is more than sufficient. Okay. Nitin is asking, hello sir, does system on chip comes under embedded domain? So as I said, Nitin, system on a chip is nothing but you are bringing into a multifunctional device in a single silicon. For example, in my first company when I started my career almost 24 years back, we are building a broadband router, and then broadband router consisted of four different functionalities. So instead of using four different processes and integrating them, which will occupy more space, and also certain performance issues could be there, power issues could be there. So what our team did was, our hardware team that time was working in the US, so they integrated all the four functionalities and we came up with our own chip. So that is nothing but a system on a chip. So according to me, that system on a chip comes under the embedded domain, but as I said, that comes in the earlier in the life cycle. You will not be assuming that you are aspiring for a embedded software role, which I mentioned, right? After the board and the chipset are ready, then only the role of software comes into picture, right? Or think about this, whether it's a system on a chip, or a chipset mounted in a board, right? That's like a human body, right? You have head, ears, nose, and things like that, right? So, but life comes when there is an oxygen and there is a heartbeat and there is a blood circulation. That is what the job of an embedded software engineer, right? Somebody should give a body, then only you can give life, right? Same thing. Whether it's a system on a chip or you are going to use a ready-made chipset available in the market, it is the job of the VLSI engineers and the board design engineers to give you the board. So what the job role we are targeting are the ones which assumes that the board is already available to you. Okay? If you ask me broadly, is it coming under embedded domain? Yes, everywhere there is a chip and hardware available. But as far as the course is concerned, we focus on the software side of it. Okay. So Varshana is asking, so how important is knowledge of tools like MATLAB, Verilog, or PCB design for core placements? Not much, Varshana. As I said, we are targeting jobs which are more on the embedded software side. Even though you could have had certain simulation experience, some design experiences, like whatever the skill set that you mentioned, I don't think they play a major role in our placements. Whatever the curriculum that we are teaching, which Mubeen has demonstrated, you focus on that. That itself is more than enough. Okay. Of course, if you know some of them, it will be an added advantage, but majorly, focus on what is there in our course. Okay. Bhumika is asking, so there's not a doubt, but in my opinion, it would be better if you could include year of passing for all the students in Instagram post as well. Okay, we'll try to do that. Okay, again, what happens is sometimes there is this real estate also comes into picture, right? We already have if you see that, right, our team publishes the data in different what do you call categories. So the year of pass out comes into only picture only for older batches, right? So whatever the older batch students are there, only for them it is getting published. Okay. If not, generally we don't publish. But again, if it's a premium company, that's a real estate, right? We put everything, sometime, it will get confused. But having said that, I take your point. I will, try to pass out to our social media team and let us see what they can do. Okay. Sindhu Bharati is asking, sir, I'm planning for online mode. Is it possible to get hands-on experience on hardware board as well as the simulator? Yes, you can, Sindhu. See, boards that has been, whatever we are using, there are standard boards available in the market. You can purchase them on your own, and then you can practice. And whatever the learning that you will be, having in the simulator, and whatever the learning experience that you will be having in the board, they are similar. There's no compromise. But yeah, if some student may say, sir, I really want to get a kick off doing the hardware, you can purchase them and do it on your own. Yash Patil is asking, what is the time for classes? It depends, Yash, which batch you are enrolling, whether you are enrolling for an offline or online. Online, we have two variants again: online, day batch and the online evening batch. In the offline also, right, our classes starts at different timeline, different slots. So what I suggest is, depending on your interest, you can discuss with our counselors. They'll be able to explain this better. Then Srirag is telling how important this course if I would like to get into an automotive field. Okay, again, that's a good question, Srirag. See, if you look at embedded, as we've been discussing for quite some time, right? Embedded has got a lot of what we call verticals. So these verticals include automotive, includes robotics, includes electric vehicles. In any electric vehicles, you can also say it's an automotive. But let us say automotive, let us say a traditional petrol diesel engine, let us say EV purely belongs to the electrical motor driven vehicles, right? And then we also have domains like, for example, a medical system. A lot of devices are getting into the medical devices. Like last week I was in conversation with one of our placement clients. They're innovating a small device which can be added to a stethoscope, which can give a more intelligent insights about the patient and things like that, right? So like that, the embedded is are of course consumer electronics, your watches, TVs, washing machines, right? It's a huge spectrum of areas where embedded system is getting applied. Okay? So our course is designed in such a way that any companies in this domain can hire our students. Okay, if you look at if you want to categorize our placement companies, right, maybe on a daily basis, right, some may become domain A, domain B. One could be an EV company, another could be a automotive company, another could be a robotics company, and things like that, right? Okay, so that is point number one for all of us to understand, right? If you are specific about automotive, we don't teach anything specific to automotive, but yeah, by doing this course, can you get into automotive companies? Yes, there are tons of people in the automotive sector working in almost all the major either in the device manufacturers or in the tier one suppliers, name it Mercedes-Benz, Robert Bosch, Continental, Vitesco, Harman, right? Our students are there, but unfortunately off late, due to the slowdown and things like that, we are not seeing Bosch and Continental are hiring off late. But probably in a year and a half back, they were regular recruiters. Even you can go and see that, right? KPAT, for example, and then new age startups are there, or companies are there, like Ola Electric, Ether Energy, and things like that, right? Yeah, automotive company, definitely you can go for it. Okay, if you do this particular course. Varshana is asking, for a core company visiting campus like Qualcomm or Texas Instruments, what do they expect us to demonstrate in the interview? Okay, the theoretical knowledge, project work, or tool usage. Okay, nice question. First of all, Texas Instrument don't visit, Varshana. They are very particular about their campus hires, entry-level hires. We've been trying to reach them, but yeah, Qualcomm comes. So they predominantly expect, your projects would be the primary thing they're looking for, Varshana. Okay, that's what I've been talking from the beginning. Minimum 10 projects. Definitely, if you're aiming for a higher paying company, you should aim more number of projects, because competition will be more among our students itself. On a lighter note, I tell many of you are asking this question, right? They may end up in the same batch, you're sitting the same bench and studying the classes together. But when you go for a company, you're competing for the same job, right? So how do you differentiate yourself? So according to me, point number one will be how many projects you've done. That's number one, right? Via that, they'll check both the other aspect which you mentioned, mainly the theoretical aspect, your concept understanding. They validate that also. Tool usage, not much, because as I said, some of you are asking about MATLAB and etc. These tools vary from company to company, and development environment, another environment, and tool learning, is, I would say, based on my experience, it's a matter of week. If you, whatever the IDEs and the tools which is there as a part of our course, if you learn them very well, whether it's a different debugger or a different compiler, as a code profiler coming into picture, learning them will be a matter of week. Okay, so don't bother much about the tools. Sometimes even keep students asking, sir, should I learn about DevOps? Right? Should I learn about let us say some of the automation tools like Puppet and things like that? I said no, don't bother. The tool is a maximum 1 week affair. So I would say project based outcome, and when they ask a sound theoretical background, so that you demonstrate both these hands-on experience and hands-on skill set, also the theoretical part. So that's what companies would be looking for. Varshana, I don't say this is specific to Qualcomm. Any company would be looking for that same. Okay. Then Yanam, so do we need to pay fee at a time? Or how much it is? Again, our counselors will be the right people to explain. Shortly, I'll share the contact details. You can get in touch with them. Again, question from Bhumika. Sir, if you take an online course, will the company interviews will be conducted online or offline? I think I already clarified, Bhumika. Probably you missed that particular question. See, companies can conduct in any mode. We cannot force them, right? Some will conduct in online, some will conduct in offline. It really depends on the company. Okay. but they don't care. They want the right set of candidates. Okay. Great set of questions, guys. Thank you very much. As I said, this is what we enjoy. More than, because if you see the slide, right, pretty much the same information will be there, except a few here and there updates. But the Q&A is where we get motivated. Right? Thank you very much. Hope most of the questions we answered. I think all of them we answered. So what I'll do is I'll move on to the third, relatively smaller portion of the presentation. Is about the if you look at, we discussed about two major chunks in the presentation so far, in the webinar so far. The first one is about the job market, where the trend is going with respect to semiconductor devices industry, and the placement number of companies visiting per month from in Emertxe's point of view, right? Other parties, basically the how our students are getting placed. We saw that particular thing. Similarly, we also saw basically how the course is getting delivered. In that section covered by Mubeen in terms of classes, labs, learning management system, etc. He was able to demonstrate. Okay, so you got a view now. Let me go and resume my presentation. I'll go off the camera to keep the audio quality. If required, we can switch on once again. So let me let us put in the presentation mode. So let us talk about the placements once again, how it works, the process of the placements, right? So once you join the course, typically all of you will be added into a Google group. Basically, this Google group will have only access to Emertxe students, where companies, the placement information will be mentioned. I'll just shortly show the Google group how it looks like. And you can check and apply, but before you apply, you need to clear a placement eligibility. Once you complete the core programming modules, that is C, C++, and data structures for the embedded students, and for the IoT students, the Arduino and the C programming. Once it is done, our mentors will conduct a placement eligibility test. You need to clear them, and once you clear them, you can start applying for placements. Okay, so that's what happens. Then once you apply, it will reach our placements team. They will do an internal shortlisting, what you call first level filtering. Then they will share it with the company also might apply some additional criteria and do more shortlisting, and then the written test and interviews will happen, offer release will happen, and then onboarding happens. So this is the process in which it works. Here, few things to clarify here. First point is, as I said, you can start applying for the placements after the 4th month, right? After the data structures module gets over, you can start applying for placements. That's point number one. And once the course gets over, from the time of course completion, you will get placement supports for 2 more years. Okay, you can, as I said, you can start applying in the middle, or the once the core modules are over, then you can do the placements and the course in parallel. And once the course gets over, you can apply for 2 years from the time of course completion. Okay, point number one. Point number two, right? Point number three is basically any company which are recruiting our students, they would expect you to join immediately, because these companies, as you mentioned, they come to us because they already have a running project. It's not like how it happens in the campus interview, where at the end of 3rd year, companies make an offer and then you need to join by the end of your 4th year, or rather after you complete the graduation, right? Here, companies expect you to join immediately, except for working professionals. If you're working and your notice period or serve or transition your work, that can be worked out. Companies will wait. You can serve your notice period and join, but if you're available, they would expect you to join immediately. Okay, so that's another thing. And suppose, like, say for example, a student whose course is not over but he got placed, especially if, say for example, the student is an offline student, he will have some few modules pending, right? So what we do in that cases, we actually give opportunity for the same students to complete their pending modules in the online evening mode. Okay, they can get a batch change and complete the remaining modules along with their work. Okay. So these are some of the points about the placement process, right? So what I'll do is, I'll just showcase the Google group. Let me, go off the video for a second. Let me open my browser and then share you guys with how the, Google groups looks like on a daily basis. So this is our Google group looks, you can see there every day, or every other day, you can see, for example, 18th there was like Yesterday we had one, two, three companies, and then one company where there's some placement announcement was there. Let's say today, if you look at from 9:30 onwards, right? We had some placements results have come. Then we had some one, two, three companies coming in, right? This is how it looks. Okay, you can see that there's a company Circuitex. They actually came to a center and conducted the written test. That also happens, right? Nagoba Electronics, Intemtech, HCL. You can see there. Okay. Now, opening an application, let us say, for example, LG, right, which came today. We'll give the entire details here. What the company's background is, right, and then what is the modules for the IoT student as well as for the embedded students, and what are all the criteria, which branches largely everybody is allowed. Okay, also year of passouts, academic criteria, and then what is the salary package, for what is the initial 6 months. After that, it will be made 7.5 lakhs, and if there is a bond, anything, that also will mention. Okay, how the process, and you can see, right, you can apply by tomorrow 10 a.m. is the cutoff time where our students can apply, and this is a simple Google form we give to a student where they will fill. Okay, so as you can see, all the placement information will be made very transparent, and then our student success team works closely with the students, and then ensure that time to time, whatever the queries and the concerns are, any other thing that the students have, we tend to clarify. Okay, that's one thing. And similarly, I would like to show an energy certificate also. Let me just go off the video and show a certificate for you guys. So as I said, Emertxe is an affiliated institution with Skill India. Under Skill India, we have the NSDC, the National Skill Development Corporation. Under National Skill Development Corporation, we have this Electronic Sector Skill Council of India, where we are affiliated at level 5. Just let me open an example certificate. Yeah, you can just share. So this is an example of how our Skill India certificate looks like. As you can see there, our Skill India NSDC. I guess this is slightly old template. Now in the certificate itself, our university logo also comes, and then the QR code verification, everything is enabled here, and it comes from the government of India. And and you are aiming for an embedded software engineer role, which is a level 5. They call it NSQF, National Skill Qualification Framework. At a level 5, our institution is affiliated. Okay, so as I said, in the discussion also, don't bother much about the certificates and stuff like that. It is nice to have. Of course, we also give certificate from Emertxe also. Of late, what we are seeing a trend where students get placed, and then after 2-3 years they are going for energy certification, because I guess it is internationally getting recognized, and some of them want to go for higher studies. This comes in handy. But I would say it's nice to have. Don't bother much. Whether it's the emergency certificate or energy certificate, that doesn't matter. Main thing is demonstrating the skill set. Okay? But these are some more additional benefits what you have. Okay. And people ask for the course dates. These are the dates for the month of June. We have an offline course starting on 24th June. That is next Tuesday. And next week itself we have this online course also, online regular or online day batch. Online evening is starting on July 2nd. Okay, these are the dates. Similarly, we'll have dates published once this admission closes for the June batch. Our July dates will be announced. It will be available in our website, also in our social media pages. And many of you had questions about fees and payment terms and things like that. That's contact details of our counseling team, training@emertxe.com, and their number is 809 555 7332. You can call them or email them. One of our counselors will reach you, and they will explain you all the other logistical details. Okay. And these are our coordinates in Bangalore. People who are familiar, I guess good number of you today came from Bangalore city. We are having 3 offices in and around MG Road. 2 of what you call as a training centers located near the MG Road metro station. One we call Farah Towers, where we have 350 seater training capacity, and we also have 450 seater capacity, and we have got one more building called Leo Towers, which is a few hundreds of meters from Leo Towers, where we can sit around 300 students. So at a time 750 people can sit in our training facilities. And we also have a back-end office in the Infantry Road. So predominantly, all the action happens in Farah Tower for students, and some of them will have classes in Leo Towers. They are walkable, reachable by metro, throw it, distance from the bus stand and things like that. It's very much centrally located. And we are active in LinkedIn and in social media. I guess some of you already given me some suggestions for social media also. I guess you're following us both in Insta and in the LinkedIn and YouTube. Also, our team is working to bring in more, enriching contents. So you can follow us. You can scan these QR codes. What do you call, share, like, and subscribe. You'll be getting latest things in the industry, latest things in Emertxe and things like that. Okay, so that's about Emertxe. So okay, that's what we had planned. Let me see if any questions remaining unanswered. Let me just check. Okay. That's a question from Yash Patil. Before I join, I want to get a demo lecture. So Yash, whatever Mubeen has shown in today's video, today's webinar, that's a demo lecture. If you have some questions, ask your counselors. Hope that would have, given you the enough clarification. Okay. Then Elijah is asking, I may have missed it. Is Python included as well? Understand it's also coming up in embedded system nowadays. Yes, definitely. So Python is included in our IoT course. In our embedded course, we teach C and C++ programming languages. But in our IoT course, we teach C and Python. Okay. That is how it is distributed. Any other questions? Any other you have in mind? A lot of very interesting questions came today already. Any other questions, guys? 9:10 now. We overshot by 10 minutes today. All right. Again, thank you very much for all of you for being patient and listening to this webinar. As mentioned, that's a question from Sindhu Bharati. So, do we get job openings for experienced profiles? Okay. What I mean to say is like, experienced candidates, we need to basically, look into it from a different perspective because their experience may not be the same bucket. But what I'm saying is, if you skill yourself in the course that we are doing, definitely we can get you opportunities. Okay. Whether you are some, again, experience will come in different buckets. We have students from 1 to 3 years, then 3 to 5 years, and 5+ years, right? You are saying, and with the 10 years break, I think you already mentioned to me. Okay. We can get you opportunities. Okay. But ensure that you are skilling yourself well. Okay. Sindhu. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Maybe I can also ask you a quick feedback. How did you find today's session? Can you share your perspectives? Did it give you clarity? And we tell in every webinar, right? All we're trying to do is basically to share you guys with the right set of information. Ultimately, we see, you are the decision maker with respect to your career. You can take suggestions, you can take, recommendations, or equip yourself with more information. And that's what our goal is. But ultimately, you are the decision maker. So ensure that you guys do, because you're going to do this for a long period of time. Ensure that you can look into it from a long-term perspective and take a call. And definitely, as I said, embedded systems is a domain where you can have a long career. We're talking about 30-year career roadmap, right? Definitely you can have. Yeah. Any other questions? Or how did you find this webinar? Was it helpful? Any quick feedback you want to share about today's webinar? And after this, right, our team will take up this video, maybe few from do some initial few cuts, and then they will upload into YouTube, and the YouTube link also they'll share. In case you miss some portions or there was a network disconnect or something like that, you can watch, or you can also share it with your friends who may be keen in this course. And as you can see, right, we've been whatever, I said, 3 years we've been doing in this webinar. All the videos are available. Maybe we might have missed 1 or 2 months in the entire 3 years due to certain holidays or something like that, but we pretty much do it every month. You can go and see all the past webinars in the on your YouTube channel itself, and this one also will go get uploaded soon in our YouTube channel. Okay. Any other questions, points, comments, feedback? Okay. It doesn't seem so. So thank you very much once again for joining and patiently listening. On behalf of Team Emertxe, as I said, whatever decision you take, you are the ultimate decision maker for your career. Whatever decision you make on behalf of Team Emertxe, I want to wish you guys all the very best. You're all smart kids. You all will do very well in your career. Just be careful that you do proper analysis and take a decision. So don't go by the swing, right? Just do a little bit more time, do a proper analysis, see that how suitable it is for you. Then definitely, you can, have a wonderful career. Okay. So take care. All the very best to all of you. See you later. Bye.